Manholes possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to safe haven. Detecting 12, cycle check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 point start, take your shots.
Also still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? With okay. If anyone else follows my 50 result, let me know. 10-5, I'll be back. Winchester. Danny, the father and the owner of the vehicle. Alright, thank you. 111, 117, 847 Fulton.
All right. It's finally here tonight. Whoa. Came in really loud again there. What's up, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me okay. As always, when we're out here doing these on the road studio room location streams, you never know with the audio. So hopefully we're good. If you can hear me, let me know. Thank you all for hopping in. We're going to be going through a few things this evening. We're going to be going through more Manholes stuff. I'm going to be showing you some different footage. Footage from the searches I was talking about. I'm going to show you some of that. I'm going to show you some of the footage. If like last night, the night before that, the show before that, we were talking about the difference between the picture that I'm showing you compared to what it looked like, and then after the hurricane, and then what it looks like. I'm going to show you. We're going to go through all that footage. Baby's sleeping. She is sleeping on the comforter. She likes to stay up all night and sleep all day. That's what she does. So hopefully I don't wake her up, but I think we'll be okay. But we're going to go through all those different footage just to try and show you guys a little more of what we're talking about and kind of the stuff that we're explaining. When we first came up with the part one, sounds like my daughter, right? She's just like a kid. When we went through the part one and the part two, that's when we were showing you some drone footage, because after the first part, I think it was the part two, because it was actually a live, a few hour live. But the part two is in there, and we showed some footage of the drone and what it looks like going through the sewer tunnels and stuff like that. And somebody from the community sent me another video, and so I'm not only going to show you what we showed you back then, but I'm going to show you another video from a community member that sent it to me, and I thought it was very fitting considering everything that we're talking about when it comes to the manhole stuff. We're going to get through. Nick has some new posts on Twitter. We're going to go through his latest YouTube video. We're going to check that out together. And then at the end of the show, we're going to check out the episode where Jennifer Coffindaffer had Julia CPT Canine on her show. And there was a lot of interesting things that were mentioned for that. So we'll go ahead and get into those tonight. First, I want to say thank you and say what's up to everybody. And thank you for hopping in. Caddy, ticket number 1. Thank you so much. Hide and Seek, ticket 2. And thank you. What's up, Lori? Yes, baby angel's napping. Man, I'm telling you what, though, she is like, that's why I haven't been able to get any sleep since I've been here. Because literally, it's like, I'm going to lay down and she's just stretching and getting ready to climb up on a whole bunch of stuff, rattle, chasing toys. It's okay. Ticket 14, what's up, Katrina? April, ticket 15, Busby, ticket 19. Busby, if you're not busy, you're more than welcome. If you want, just let me know. Let me see here. I was really slammed today, so. And we got some good news, too. I got to keep it. We got some good news when it comes to the awareness and how much more awareness we're going to be able to bring for Micah with this awesome opportunity that's coming up. So I can't wait for that. Michael, ticket 22, thank you so much. It's probably going to be 6 or 7 months in the making. It is cold today, that's for sure. What's up, Allie? Thank you for hopping in. Tanya, ticket 24. Rachel, ticket 26. Fly Girl. What's up? What's up? Jennifer P. Oh my gosh, hide and seek. You're below zero at the moment. That's why I moved away from Akron, Ohio, because I got tired of the lake effect snow and the blizzards and the freezing rainstorms and all that other, I miss you, Akron, but I don't miss that cold. I don't miss that cold. Uh-uh. I do not. I do not. I'd like to move like warm. I'd love to be in the Keys. Honestly, I'd love to be in it, but good luck. That'll be the day. What's up, reserve ticket 19? Am I the only one who sees what on the screen? What do you see on the screen? The moon? What's going on? Jennifer P, ticket 36. What's up, Jill Y, ticket 37? We're going to be having some Amber Berbilia shows coming up. Some good ones coming up tomorrow. You don't want to miss them. Shout out to Jill. Shout out Jill in chat. She definitely go check. If you're not familiar, go check out the breakdown of the dash cam that we had Jill on with us for that episode, and she did an amazing job with that transcript. So shout out Jill. Appreciate everything that you do. Miriam, ticket 31. Thank you very much. Matthew, 37. Appreciate you. What's up, Bo? Ticket 40. Yes, the saxophone. Great to see you. Hopefully everything gets better, Caddy. Prayers. Yes, fine, Sebastian. What's up, Fusions from Albany, Oregon? What's up? What's up? Sound is clear, hopefully. Hopefully. Much love to you too, Rachel. How's the baby? The baby's doing good. She's doing real good. As best as she could be. What's up, Yoli? Yo. La. Crazy stuff with the Idaho 4 case, huh? We got to get back into that sometime. And if we can get this camper, I'm going to be going to Idaho 4's trial. You know that. I'm going to be camping up in the mountains going to that trial. Boise, Idaho. I'll be at that trial every single day. I'll give you reports from outside the courthouse. We'll have shows inside the studio and the camper. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm still in Myrtle Beach right now. We're in Myrtle Beach for a few more days. We got some stuff to do for Micah, and we're going to be, we already started doing a lot of work for Amber's case yesterday. And then we'll be ramping it up tomorrow. So we're going to have 2 shows tomorrow, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. We're going to be going through FOIAs. We might have a special guest. I think everything's going to be okay, but I'm just waiting on the final word. So we might have a special guest for that. But definitely you're not going to want to miss the episode tomorrow. 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. And you're going to know it when we start the live tomorrow. I'm going to explain pretty much. I think you guys, when you hang out tomorrow or you watch the replay, I think you're going to be amazed at what I'm trying to show you guys with what I'm doing tomorrow. I think you're going to be amazed, not at anything that I'm doing. I'll just say the atmosphere. I think you're going to be amazed. You're going to be like, phew. Really? You wouldn't like Arizona? It's too hot and dry. I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. I hate humidity. Like, I can live in hot weather if it's not humid. So that's the one thing I hate is humidity. I hate freezing rain, ice storms, and I hate humidity. So I don't know. You all tell me, where's that at? No humidity and no ice storms. Where are we talking? Let me know. Let me know where we're talking. You can say it is very cold here, analytical. I've been freezing all day. Thank you, Lally. I've been freezing all day. I was like, my gosh, this is crazy. This is normal. This is normal. All right. For some reason, it says I got like one little bar. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what's up. All right. So I wanted to share some things with you guys real quick. We have fires, though, and earthquakes. Yeah, I couldn't do earthquakes, I don't think. I don't think so. All right. I want to show you guys some pictures here. So let me see here. So remember when I told you guys that after that hurricane in the pond, whoops, hold on, I was doing something else. There we go. I was telling you guys that after that hurricane came through and before it was all like nice and smoothed out. Well, I'm going to show you the footage, but I want to show you this picture so you can see just the end result of what took place. Here, let me see here. I got to stop that. So this is what it looked like after that hurricane came blowing through. Okay. So, and you're going to see the other pictures, but look at this. Now, this was all smoothed out and level and everything. You can see a lot of the water coming from this drain here, kind of coming over here. But the thing that's going to be shocking to you, what's up, Karen? The thing that's going to be shocking to you when I show you the video is I give you I walk down here in this area right here, and I kind of do like a side view for you. And you can literally see it's like 4 or 5 feet drop. So this right here, okay, and you'll see in the footage coming up. This right here compared to this right here is literally like a 4 to 5 foot drop. This is how much mud was still in these pipes. So I'm going to show you footage from those searches back then. I'm going to show you footage before this hurricane. I'm going to show you footage after this hurricane, so you guys can see all of these different aspects of it. And I want you, the reason I'm showing you this photo right here first is because I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see this is the end result. This was the end result after all that. So as we're going through the footage and we're going through the pictures and you're like, oh, this looks like, oh, this don't look too bad. Guess what? This right here is the end result of what we're talking about. This is how much mud was in this sewer system. Now, I'm sitting here racking my brain and I'm going, why in the hell would 75% of the manhole covers be off back in April? And I'm thinking about this right now. And the only thing I can think of is maybe because of all of the mud. Because think about it. It's that huge construction site you're going to see in the footage. It's that huge construction site. I don't know. You guys tell me. Do you think the reason they didn't have the covers on the manholes was because the covers were causing the manholes to get clogged up from the mud runoff? and it was easier just to leave the covers off so that way they didn't have to keep unclogging the manhole covers. It's okay if some mud went down in there anyway, it don't matter. At least we don't have to walk around and go unclog all of these manhole covers. I don't know. It's the only thing that I can think of. What other reason would there be that people would be leaving 75% of the manhole covers off? I think he could have fallen in one of the drains, and I don't mean just the one that I focused on. What's up? Thank you for hopping in. Find Summer's Truth. Elaine 76. Thank you. I'm sitting here going. Even last night, I'm like, how? Why? Why? And the only thing I can think of is that it was just a way to not have to go unclog all the manhole covers, because all of those manhole covers existed where those roads now are. The manholes that were in the middle of the road and the sewer drains that were on the side of the road as well. So there was different covers that were missing on a lot of those holes going through the drainage system of that area. That's why I came up with this zone right here. Because this right here, there's a road here, and then there's a road that comes up here. All of these covers, or there should have been covers, what's up, Cupcake, is literally the holes for the manholes and the holes on the side of the curbs on each side for more, for the water to, the water to flow, to exit. And everything is rolling down this way. This is going and rolling down this way. You have all of this stuff over here draining down up right here in this section. It was draining down here, and then it goes and it drains over there to where the retention pond is at. And then after that retention pond, it drains to another retention pond that then drains into this pond right here. So as we're going from left to right, the camera's backwards. So as we're going from left to right, it's like this, like literally like that. What's up, Heather? Like that. All of this, and I'm not saying it's specifically, this manhole right here. I'm not saying that. Could it be any of the manholes up here? Yeah, it could be any of these manholes. It could be any of these manholes. When I'm sitting there explaining somebody falling down because, think about it. If you're trying to, what if he really was trying to run away or leave? He ends up going over here, accidentally falls, and then. So when I show you this footage of the sewers at different points, it's scary to think that this right here was the end result. This right here was the end result, and look at all that extra mud when this is like a 4 or 5 foot drop off right here from here to here. You can see that grate right there. It's got some different grade on there. It's not rebar. You see this right here? This is a major thing I want you guys to see. You see this right here? That's how high this was. Okay? You see this line right here? Look, you can see where the mud was at. Okay? Now look. See, now look, you see how high it is now? Think about how high it is as it's going across this whole area. Do you see where all of this, you see this right here where it's all like laid down like they're trying to grow new grass? You know why? That used to be where the water went. That's how full this was. And it wasn't mostly water. It was mostly mud. It was mostly mud. It's crazy when I show you this stuff. And you sit back, I mean, when you literally look at this and see how full it was. I'm not BSing you when I tell you how full these pipes were when we first showed up. All right, so before we get into that footage, I'm going to show you these drone videos. One of them we showed before, and this is another one that we're going to be showing from a community member. So thank you very much. Give me 1 second, and we'll get those ready. Then we're going to get into some footage for you. So imagine it's that manhole. Is it gonna, hold on. Imagine it's that manhole. You know, this is one, it's not sticking out like the other one, but this one's, you know, it's in the yard. It's basically the same kind of thing. Basically the same kind of thing. So this is one of the drones that they can use. And I think this is the drone that they used when they went in there, but I don't know. I heard they flew one, but I don't know how you can fly one in there. Listen, I'm not no expert, but geez, I can. Listen, if you can fly a drone and your blades don't bump into something, I don't know. You must have like one of the most expensive drones out there to not touch something, because man, that's crazy skills. Crazy skills. But this is what it looks like. Look at all these interconnected tubes, and then you fall. Look at how far down this is, y'all. Boom! Look at how far down this is. Imagine falling down this, okay? Imagine falling down this. Boom. Now look. Interconnected. Now the pipes, the sewer pipes down there are just the circles. They're not like the oval. They're the circles. So you don't even have that much room. What's up, Allison? You don't even have that much room. Yeah, be safe. Julia, be safe. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Now that's with a light. That's with a light. That's not with, you know, just pitch black. Now here's another one I wanted to show you guys as well. Whoa, is this like old school HBO? All that.
For the Murfreesboro Street Department, tearing up a road to fix an underground drainage pipe can be one of their costliest repairs. Pinpointing the location of the repair by tearing up more of the area than needs to be is the problem. That's why their new CCTV van that replaced one that couldn't be repaired is one of the most important pieces of equipment in their department.
Well, what we do first is when we put the camera in the hole, we come back in here and we make a log of what segment of pipe that we are videoing. That way, if we find any problems, we collect that data and enter it into our inspection. And we will start controlling, which will get the camera moving as slow as we can. That way we can collect any data or anything we see. And as we go,
Look at how clean and clear that is on both of these. These pipes don't look like that.
go through here, we'll look for defects in the pipe. From where the joints are, we stop at every joint to make sure that the pipe is sealed and not separated. And so if it's a really, really bad defect, then that goes on the priority list of where, hey, we need to get this fixed, because if we don't fix it, two things are going to happen. It's going to end up causing a lot of problems, and it's going to back up water. And if it backs up water, people get flooded out. So right now we're fixing to come to, it's either a blind connection or an area drain. This segment will end as soon as I get into this box.
Finding and repairing issues before they become major problems is a benefit to the citizens of Murfreesboro.
We've saved a lot of money. We've also took care of the taxpayers as far as like fixing a problem that they would not know about. With this being concrete pipe, it could cave in and cause a big hole, which will back up water all the way to 2 or 3 neighborhoods over. And then you have to find that problem, and it may not be in the neighborhood that's 2 or 3 streets over.
We asked Justin some weird things he's found in the drainage pipes.
We tend to find cats. We help the lady get her cat out, and some of them don't move and some of them take off running. So I have been TVing for about, I think it's 4 years doing this. And so we finally this year got a new van. And so we're able to be a lot more like a one-stop shop, to where we can stay out in the field longer and we don't have to go back. We can do everything within the van. I say we probably do about anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 foot a day, give or take. That may be on the low end. You're looking right now as we go, we're almost at 300 foot. I will keep running the pipe until I can't run it any longer. Most of the time, like when people set their sticks and leaves on the side of the road and they wash down, they get in the drain, it backs up the water.
You see that right there? You see that right there? When I'm talking to you guys, not only about the manholes, okay, but I'm talking about these manhole, whatever, gutters too. Maybe when I'm sitting here saying that, you know, like, man, what would be the reason why they would leave most of these off? Because of this right here. Because the mud would constantly clog these up as well. Now, imagine that with no cover. That fall is going to hurt. How do you climb out of that fall? Where are you supposed to go? It's very important.
Water sitting in any pipe is not good, because we want the water to flow. Because if we don't have the water flowing, then we have more problems. As long as the water's flowing and getting out, we're fine. Well, the camera can be totally submerged. If it's raining, we're still doing this job. We're at the end to where what we're looking at now is another manhole. We made our observation already for it being the end of the pipe, which was 455 feet. We will switch camera views. We will go to the rear camera. And as we come back, we have to go to the reel because we're so far out, and we have to get it to pull the cable back.
And that's a lot of cable. That's a lot of cable when you're talking about that. All right, now let me show you guys. Let me see. Let me show you some of this footage here. Okay, let me see here. No, it's not. All right. Okay. So this right here, how long is this video? It's 21 seconds. This is going to show you how full it used to be. When I refer to the searches from April 6th and 7th, this is how full it's going to be, or that it was. So you can see how when we're looking in there, just little bits of water. So the top half going up to the right has a little bit of water, but it's not much. It fools you. I'm going to show you how it fools you. Because Trey had hopped in there and was going through the mud. So just like before, when I showed you that photo and I showed you guys how full this used to be, this is lower than what that was. It was even higher, and you can see there's a piece of wood kind of blocking the hole. But this shows you right here how full it was, okay? Let me show you another video. It's crazy. This is from the April 6th and 7th. Let's see. Okay, now check this one out. This will show you how much mud compared to water was in there. Okay. So this is Trey, Dark Divers. He was out there. We were holding ropes, and that shows you the mud compared to the water. Now you can see the water off to the right, but don't let it fool you. This much water can make you think that it's like this full of water, and it wasn't. There was barely any in there. You can see how thick this mud was. Now watch, I'm going to show you when it comes to the footage. I'm going to show you different parts, and you're going to be amazed at the up and the down and just the amount of mud that was in these sewer systems. It's crazy. Now, I'm not going to show the full videos because there's so much footage it would take. It would take so long. But look here, I'm going to kind of skip it around. Okay, good. That's a good one. You can see the water, right? But look, there's not that much water. Look at how much mud is in there. Not very much water at all. So you can see there's different points where it's just, see that? thick, 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 thick. Now, the visual point you want to keep in mind is see all the way in the back. All the way in the back. You see how high it is. You got to keep that in mind because it looks different now. All right, so there's that. Let me get you to another one here. Okay. Now, this is going to be... Let me see here. Hold on. 922. Hold on. So 920. Okay, let me see here. Search one. Tension pond. I don't know. Let me look at this one. Let me pull this one up. This was from 923, but I thought it was 922. Okay, so this is what those ponds looked like. This is what those ponds looked like before that hurricane.
Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. This does look a lot different right here. Yeah, it has. Wonder why it just drops down like this too. So if anybody wants to come mess with the car today.
All right, so this right here. So this is the direction of where we're going. I'm going to show you where we're at. And then I'm going to show you with an arrow the direction that we're walking. Yeah, and this was right after somebody was fucking funny. All right. All right, so we are... I'll share this tabby with you. All right. So we are kind of walking along this area right here. So we got out, we're kind of walking down, and I'm about right here. And we're walking down in this direction, going down, headed by the retention pond that's past the normal retention pond that everybody is familiar with. Is it going to play?
You're getting on camera.
All right, there we go. So that's the direction that we're going. We're going along that tree line, heading to the second retention pond before you get to the pond in the cemetery. What's up, Sue?
Okay, that might come in handy.
What's up, Pug Mom?
I'll call you guys. I apologize.
So this right here, this was all dirt. They did a lot of development since everything went down. But there's the April 6th and 7th search of that, and it's pretty much captured. All you have to do is go to April 6th, April 7th. Go watch those, and plus we should have some video uploads from that search too for you guys. But this is what that secondary retention pond looks like. It's all dried up.
Cat feed up, and now I'm using that to record the alternate version. Oh yeah, this is all dried up. This was all water last time.
Yep, that was all water. This used to
It's
be
still kind of moist.
full mud, water, and like 3 or 4 feet higher than what it is right there. Some of the
This
stuff
is
in the
really
middle,
nice.
you didn't even
Yeah.
see it because of the mud and water. But it only has surfaced because the mud and water
like
has
tofu.
now drained
Yeah,
to
look
the
at how
other pond.
full. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So you can see that right there. Look at that, people. You can see how full this one is. Look at how full it was, and look at how much little room in between where the mud and water used to be compared to how much room somebody would have. Look at how clogged it is right now. I'll just let that sink for a minute. It's crazy, isn't it? I gotta say, shout out to Dog for bringing attention to the manhole theory. Maybe because I've been there, I've experienced it, I've seen it from beginning to now, different phases, different levels. Maybe it's just because I've seen it. And that's, but it's, you gotta take it seriously. You've had to take this seriously. It's scary to think about it. Take a screenshot. Isn't that crazy? Just imagine how little a space is in between that stain and the top of that drain. It's horrific to think about.
Look at how full that is of mud. Oh damn, I'm sinking in this shit. Oh fuck.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, dude, it's you can see how far. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It wasn't even that high. Yeah. And all this wasn't even, but that was March, so, but there was none of this brush here either.
It's crazy. What's up, Pam? Ticket 102.
Brand new. Yeah. It had more. It had more water in that one than the other one.
Dude, where you standing? It's all open. Like this hillside, you can go to the top of that to push it out.
Mm-hmm.
There goes that idea.
Yeah, trying to go through the drain.
Yeah, they changed it.
So now I'm going to show you some of the other.
Oh wow. Yeah, this is what I was wanting to look at, man, because say the dogs really did pull this back to you.
Okay, now see, look at this. You see it? I was telling you guys it was nice and smoothed out and raked over and all this other stuff. Look at how clogged it is still down there. Remember when I was telling you guys it was raked out? You look 3 feet in beyond it being scraped and it was nothing but full of mud. Just like what we just saw. Just like what we just saw. This. So when it comes to the other drain, and I'm sitting there telling you guys, yeah, when you look 3 feet in, it was scraped out, and then the rest of it was clogged up. That's how much this was clogged up. That's how much the other one was clogged up. Except for 3 feet in when it was scraped around. And now this is what this one looks like. Nice and smoothed over. Oh, it looks like everything's good.
Little water coming out of there.
Now look, you see back there. Very important. Look back there. You'll see it closer, but look back there. Watch. Nice and smoothed out. Oh, it looks great.
This is all fresh too.
Yeah, it looks great. It's
I did that to
out.
level. Mm-hmm.
But just wait.
They weren't.
Watch.
I don't even remember those. Was it that deep?
Look at the stain lines. It looks just like the drain that we just saw, but that drain was clogged up. This drain, you guys remember seeing those cement things coming up from underneath? No, those were covered. I'll just let that one simmer for a minute. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let me back it up just a little bit because you can actually see just how full this thing was. You got that much room. between the top and the top. And look at all that rocks and chunks of construction and chunks of bricks and debris and all sorts of stuff in there. All sorts of stuff in there. Now, next, there's another one right there. Look at that. Now, next, I'm going to show you. Next, I'm going to show you what it looked like. Let's see. What it looked like after the hurricane, and this is going to shock you. This is going to shock you. So this is after the hurricane and all of that smoothed out. Okay. That's why if you're just joining, you gotta go to the beginning of me showing you all of the photos and the pictures and explaining it and breaking it down and kind of doing it in a timeline fashion, because this is wild with the amount of mud that is in these sewer drains. Contribution call out. Hold on one second. Contribution call out Allison Faye. I know it's been a hell of a lot longer than 8 months, but I want to say thank you so much for your support and continued support all this time. You've been there from, gosh, the very beginning. So really appreciate you, Allison, so much. Allison is an OG. But seriously, if you're just joining, you got to watch this stuff in order, because it's very important. This is after what we just saw. We just saw the part where it was this. We just saw this. We just saw this where it was nice and cleared out. You know, you got the bottom retention pond. Yeah, it's muddy. It's full. That bottom retention pond is full. You know, we're kind of walking up on it. You can see it. Holy hell, that's clogged. Okay, that's clogged. You go up and see this. Oh, it's nice and smoothed out, you guys. It's nice and smoothed out. Oh, it looks great. You go walk up to the other drain. It's nice and cleared out. Holy crap, I see cement wedges coming out of the bottom. I've never seen those before because it's always been so full. And then all of a sudden, after you see this and you see how full it used to be, then all of a sudden you come back and this is what it looks like. You're about, there's so much mud in these sewer drains. This is after. Now remember, it was that thing. It went down. Okay? The video we just watched, it went down and then came back up. Look at this. It's freaking flat. That's mud, people. That's new mud that came in to that pond. Look at that drop. And then look, if you fell down that, remember when I told you guys, it's like a 6-7 foot fall. It's like a 6-7 foot fall. Kaboom! You see the little holes in there? That's how all this other stuff drains. Oh my gosh. Look at all that stuff that came coming out of there. Oh. See how it used to be all the way up there from the stains? You got to pay attention to the stains this whole time too. It's very important. It's going to show you all of this stuff that I'm showing you tonight is showing you the totality of everything that I've been trying to express when it comes to this manhole theory this whole time. And it's the best way I can show you.
Looks a lot different.
Look at that. Look at that. And look at all of that. Now you see that line? The stain from the mud? Just like the other drain that we saw. You're talking this much room, people, when Sebastian went missing. It's no joke. It's why I wanted to show you guys this footage, these photos tonight, because I really wanted it to hit home with everybody. I really wanted everybody to understand. Now, this isn't some crazy ass, theory. This is something that this comes from knowledge and experience and being there and soaking all of this in and trying to give you guys the best information as possible when it comes to what can exist and what can't. Very important. Let me see if there's any other ones that I want to show, but I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. So that's what we're going to show for that. I am going to switch to the Nick the Hat update that came out a few days ago. Day 256 from a few days ago. We're going to check that out. First, this is a local news station clip that we're going to watch with Seth on it. I'm going to be making the part 4 of the manhole coming up. So that'll be coming out tomorrow, probably in the morning. So do me a favor and hit the like on it when it does come out. I'm going to be putting out. That's going to be the part 4. Showing you guys the totality of this manhole situation. I might even put it out tonight, though. I don't know. I'm tired and I'm going to go to bed soon after we're done. But so we're going to check out this local news clip. This is from a few days ago. We're going to watch Nick's update, and then we're going to get into the Jennifer Coffin-Daffer and Julia episode that was on a couple nights ago. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you.
We are nearing the 9-month mark of when 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers was last seen in Hendersonville. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Lydia Fielder. The teen's disappearance sparked a nationwide search that now has included local and federal law enforcement as well as volunteers. Our Steve Mailing talked with Sebastian's dad tonight, who says he does not want his son to be forgotten.
I do not know the tears that you cry because your son is not standing next to you.
Nearly 9 months since Sebastian Rogers was last seen in Hendersonville. His father Seth says he's never given up looking for him.
I refuse to let my son be discarded like trash. I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm hurt. But that doesn't really matter because I don't know what my son's going through.
Rogers says the past 9 months have been anything but easy. His days left searching for answers, and when he returns home,
My house is very, very quiet because my son's not there. I just want my son found and brought home.
while Seth hasn't given up hope, he feels others have now treated his son's case as a lesser priority. Recently, Doug the Bounty Hunter joined the search for Sebastian, adding a significant reward of over $150,000.
They haven't come out and told anybody anything since April. And them actually speaking with me, they'd have to actually answer their phone.
But Seth hasn't given up hope, holding prayer vigils and awareness events like the one Saturday in Clarksville. He wants people to know his son's face, say his name, and help bring him home.
And if he is seeing this, son, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep looking for you until I find you. And if you see this, call me. You know my phone number. I won't change it. And I love you.
For WSMV4,
we will find the truth.
I'm Steve Mailing.
Or you want to get involved.
All right, so let me get the channel here real quick, and we'll get that up there. This is from a few days ago. Let me see here. Let's get this ready. Give me 1 second. We're gonna check this out. All right, we'll get that up there. Nick the Hat. Hit the like, and we'll check out what he says
on
here.
YouTube. It's been a busy month, maybe a little bit longer. There are no developments that we can report per se on YouTube or social media. Long story short, Dog is constantly on the case right now. He's traveling. He's being briefed in real time about findings that we have in Oregon and New York. So the case is very fluid, and the goal is really to just bring Sebastian home, and the family can figure out who has custody to what when he gets there, right, guys? So that's where we stand right now. There is going to be a development in the skunk lawsuit today or tomorrow. We were expecting it yesterday. It's up to the courts as to the timing, but keep refreshing that docket, and you guys are going to see an update on the docket. Definitely keep watching that. That's going to be a key part of solving the case, right? You have to get rid of the bullies. You have to get rid of the people that are intimidating people to solve the case. Otherwise, we're going to be 1 year in, not us personally. We got involved in September, but Sebastian's case is 1 year in almost. And look, we're still at square one. They haven't gotten to square two yet, or even around all four corners of square one. So the nonsense ended. A lot of the individuals early on, ones that we thought had bad intent, which they did at the beginning, they've since changed their tune. They've turned it down, and now they're just being normal, which means look for Sebastian, look for leads, push his poster out there, get his face out there. I don't care if you share just a profile picture, the FBI poster, just share the poster, because when it made its way to another state, stuff started happening very quickly. That state had no idea who Sebastian was. Philadelphia doesn't know who Sebastian is for the most part. You can't expect probably 9 out of 10 people in the street. If you show them a picture, they're going to say, we don't know who that is. So he could be walking around with an abductor and they don't know that, right? And neither does Sebastian. I'm not saying that he doesn't know that, because I'm sure he's catching on right now. Something's not right. Where's my mom? Where's my dad? Where are my parents, right? So if they are on the move with an abductor, it's important that his face is seen nationwide. That's the goal. By January 1st, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, his face and name will be known nationwide in all states across the United States. That's a fact. We are working hard for that, and it's just to spread his name, face recognition. People need to know who they're looking for and that somebody's missing. There's no indication that
It is. It's important. Just like they were like Dog was talking in the show we watched last night about, they're finding the children and they're like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen him? Does he look familiar? It's very important. It's like we said from May. I really feel like it's trafficking. Even though there's this manhole conversation, I'm telling you, I only feel 15% manhole, 85% trafficking. Trafficking. We just showed you guys another SO in Hendersonville. 50 crimes plus. Oh, it's right outside Nashville. Nothing outside Nashville. It's barely anything outside of Nashville.
Leads anybody to believe that Sebastian has been harmed, yet there's nothing. So again, Dog, the bounty hunter, is operating under the assumption that Sebastian is alive. And with that said, continue calling Dog with leads. Call the TBI, call the FBI, call anybody that will listen, report the lead, and they can clear it, right? Or they can pursue it. It's important to do that. As for the skunks, we gave you guys a lot of chances, and the ones that are still running around, you know who you are. I've never seen something like that, and I am very interested to see what the court's reaction is going to be, because love me if you want, hate me if you want, call me a fraud if you want, call me fake news if you want, call me a felon if you want, call me a parolee if you want. The law is the law. So when you go into court, you can't tell the judge, all right, Your Honor, he's on parole, so I can get... Please, give me a break. That's not going to work. If you think that's going to work, re-strategize. And there are more people that are being added. That is, I guess, the big news. Not really big news. It's just a few more. And guess what? There's going to be 50 people by the end of this. So more are being added. As of yesterday, more defendants have been added to the case. Not many, but we are aiming for 50. And that's the number that we have. Likely 49, or I think it was 49, the actual number. But that's a lot of people that are going to have a lot of explaining to do. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all.
Thank you, Analytical.
With the courts, they can't just say, oh, we're throwing this in the trash. No, everybody's going to get heard. All 10 plaintiffs, in addition to the next batch of 10 that are being added, will be heard. So again, it's a class action injunction. It's not a lawsuit. It's an injunction, and it's a serious thing. And I don't care if you don't take it serious. I am just giving advice, I guess, to the people that don't. You should, because one is going to let us focus on Sebastian. Not this distracted. They don't get distracted about this, but there's no to drag yourself into something that we all know you won't be able to afford to get out. Now, maybe there are YouTubers, not in this case, on YouTube that can afford litigation, probably two. And that includes people that have 150 million followers and subscribers. Not anybody that has under 1 million. Not anybody that has under 15. If you have under 25 million subscribers and you think you're going to win, stop. Again, the company that is coming for you has gone after Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. Same people that are behind this. And at the end of the day, they won. He lost. He's the world's richest man. So it's obvious that it's not going to work. The only thing that will work is stop breaking. No matter what happens, you're never going to... Is telling the judge that her signature isn't worth the paper it's written on. And they don't take kindly to that. And it's not a good thing to say, especially for people that live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now, if you don't live here, and there are a number of you that don't, that are being added to the case, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be compelled to come to Pennsylvania. The way it works is we file here, add you to the case, then send an attorney from, let's say, Virginia to a court in Virginia where they'll have a hearing without you there. They will enforce that subpoena and that case against you. And then deputies in Virginia will serve you. And then it's enforceable. So if you don't show up, you get the Bullhorn Betty treatment. And you know what that's like. They will drag your butt from Virginia to Pennsylvania and keep you here for a couple of days because you should have known. Stop raising money if we haven't even named you, because that's just weird. You're either trying to distract, which, okay, cool, or you want to get involved. And we're open. If you want to be part of the case because you're a problem, it's an open invite. Ask the two people that are being added, that I'm sure if they know, cool. If they don't, they'll know tonight or tomorrow. They should know. Maybe they're keeping it quiet. But ask them what they would do different 2 weeks before today. You know what they would have done different? They would have stayed out of this because this is serious. There is a child that is missing and a corporation that's going to stop at nothing to find him. They will take you to court in all the states that they have to. They will drag you on a tour from New York to Florida to Tennessee to Pennsylvania. Everywhere we have an office, you will be there. So don't jump in. We want to work with you guys. We want to work with creators. We want to work with YouTubers. And guess what? We are. Not just the creators that are on the Sebastian case, but we're talking to some very high profile creators that have nothing to do with true crime, ones that operate YouTube, ones that their numbers are YouTube. Without them, they wouldn't be YouTube. Those are the strategies we're working on. And you can be with the likes of those creators. You can be on the right side of this, and you can end up possibly coming out of this case as not a creator, but as an individual who was part of a movement that ended the hatred that has ruined the chances of finding out dozens of missing children.
Right, we're all here for the same reason. We should be.
If it wasn't for hate, if it wasn't for rhetoric, if it wasn't for BS, and it's not just Sebastian, it's Summer Wells, it's a lot of them. Okay,
it's true. It's all of these cases, all of them. You know, the ones out here for Micah Miller, and they're like, man, this is crazy. You know, all of this toxicity, and I don't know how many times I've reminded people out here. Trust me, it's like this with every case, unfortunately. I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with people from different areas, you know. They don't even realize, and it's like, yeah, it exists. And it's disgusting. You know, we even talked about it last night, you know. I even have a little video that's going to come out where it's just kind of like, shit's got to get better, man. Like something has to happen. Something. Because when you're a victim of all this shit out here, and a lot of us are, myself included, some of you all in chat for defending, you know, like the ugliness is just like, what, we're all supposed to be here for the same thing. Why? So yeah, we should all be a part. Like, put your freaking, I've been saying it from the beginning, put all your energy into trying to make a difference. And can you imagine how much less crime there would be? People would think 2 or 3 times and be like, well, nope, I probably shouldn't. Because nowadays, they catch you real quick. You know, like just putting that in the back of those criminals and predators' minds, like, well, wait a minute, let me think about it. That right there is a huge difference. It's crazy if we could all just put it together. Instead of these people that are out there for their own agendas. Ego will destroy anything. Ego will. Humble That's where you always succeed. Humble, always succeed. Ego, you always fail.
If social media did what they did to Sebastian's case, to Molly Tibbetts, we wouldn't know what happened to Molly. If they did what happened with this case to Jamie Kloss, she'd still be under the bed at Patterson's house. She would still be there under the bed as a kidnapped victim whose parents were shot and killed in front of her.
Holy
But
moly,
no,
Nick.
we had morals, I guess, back then on
Holy
YouTube.
moly,
We
Nick.
had a community, and we had a common goal, which is to make a difference, which is to compete with the mainstream media. Not that they're bad, but because they don't have the time to do what we do. They don't have time to dissect cases the way you guys do. They don't have time to give beautiful presentations like Grizzly's True Crime. They don't have time for that because it just doesn't work. This is where people turn to for that. Let's keep them coming for that. And I think we will. This skunk case is going to go down in history, and I guarantee you it's going to get appealed by the other side, and it might make its way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And change is going to come. The legal team that we are assembling, aside from the one we have, they deal with appellate law, they deal with the Supreme Court of the United States, and they deal with cases that go before the Supreme Court regularly. Every other year, these guys are there. We are hiring experts in the field of essentially the rights you get as being an American. As when you're born in America, you have, or if you are a U.S. citizen, you have rights. You have a constitution that protects those rights, and there are laws. They have to be followed. So that's the update, guys. There really is nothing to report per se, except that Sebastian is still missing. And again, the goal is to bring him home to the family, and they can figure out who has custody. It's not our decision. Let them do that. Our goal is to find him. And by getting the skunks to slow down, and I'll stop calling them skunks when they stop spraying the hate. I wouldn't, honestly, I'm the kind of person, and if Granny's watching, I'm the kind of person that would, at the end of the day, shake your hand and say thank you for stopping that and helping us find Sebastian. If that's your goal, call our lawyers. We'd love to speak with you. We offered that to Barbecue. You know what she said? Get effed. And now, look what she's doing. Don't go down with her because you want to set an example. It's not going to work, but it will work for you to have a great career.
Arrogance, like I said, ego and arrogance. Man, you fail. Humble lasts forever.
On YouTube, if you get away from those weirdos that are trying to drag you in and probably make you a scapegoat, that's honestly the vibe I'm getting. I'm sorry. I guess I'm giving you advice that I shouldn't because it would be great on my end if they were to take you out themselves, but it's just, I don't want to give them that satisfaction. I know that they are that dirty, and if they're going to do that to you, we'll take you in before them. Even though we're the ones suing you, we are suing you only because we want you to stop breaking the law. Stop breaking the law. Stop. That's it. You can discuss the case. You can give opinions. You can't say stuff like, this individual is a murderous pedophile. You can't say that. You can't say that this individual had something to do with somebody that died on their yard. You can't say that. Now, the fact that the people that you never met are willing to help you speaks volumes, because it does. It speaks volumes. You're taking advice from the wrong people, the people that are going to make you a scapegoat, and I feel bad. I feel bad. That's why I'm telling you this. I know we have our differences, but we are from Delco. I don't think we ever met, but I will tell you that these TikTokers are trying to make you the scapegoat. It's obvious because when you went on that panel, if you notice and go through the comments, you'll see that they kind of hyped you up to get on the panel, and then they gave you the right line of questioning to go with their case, not yours. Remember, your friend has a lawyer that she's not going to share with you. She has a look, because God knows how she. We'll get to that when we get to that. She's not going to share that with you. But I guarantee you the lawyers are saying, hey, get Granny to go on there. We can try to throw stuff on her. Do you really think that barbecue lady is going to save you? Please give me a break. She wouldn't save herself. Anyway, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay out of the way. If you're just going to jump in, and if you want to get involved in a lawsuit, simple.
Oh my gosh, Matthew. There's quite a few people, Matthew. It's okay. So Matthew, I'll put it to you like this, because Matthew, he's been in the Micah Miller case a lot. So you know, Plastic Jesus and iPhone Glitch and Steph's Crack Files and you know, that mess, you know, all of that stuff. It's basically people were doing the same stuff as the individuals or the groups that I just told you about. And because they wouldn't stop and it's a missing kid, these people are getting federal injunctions and a whole bunch. They're getting sued. So that's the best way that I can describe it. What's up, Tatted Mama? That's the best way I can describe it, Matthew. Without getting into the court documents and, you know, all this and all that. Just a little simple way to explain it. But there's almost 50 of them. There, I think he said 49.
Do a video, break the law, tag me, and DM me your address if you want to make it easy. If you want to make this very easy for yourself and you want to be part of it like everybody else does, do a video of something that's against the law that we can sue you for. Send me your address, your name, where you want to be served. If you will accept service electronically, and guess what? You're in the party then. It's that simple. This isn't an invite only. It's open invite. If you want to invite your friends, invite your friends. We've got plenty of space. We have a lot of space. I think you can have as many people as you want. So tell your friends if they want to get involved. It's never too late. Even if on the day before this is over, they can still get involved, and it'll just prolong it by another 4 years. That's fine. But we're not going anywhere until not just that first layer of hate is gone, but until the individuals that we are speaking with every day, the likes of YouTube compliance, he's the vice president of YouTube's compliance department, the division that goes over doxing. We're speaking with TikTok's compliance for their American, they have to follow a lot of US law, given the fact that they are an overseas organization. And they are cooperating. You know why? They don't like against the law stuff. That's why they're in front of Congress trying to defend themselves, because it's that behavior that gets people killed. And at that point, I think Mark Zuckerberg would rather have you banned, and as would YouTube, than have to go before Congress and explain why they didn't stop your words. And mark my words, this is going to be a congressional hearing at the...
Yes, trust me, you guys. Like, this stuff is just it. Why do you think the United States is trying to get rid of TikTok? Because it affects children's mental health. This affects people's mental health with the stuff that these people are doing. It affects people's mental health for no reason. It's like when I was having the conversation with him, I was like, a long time ago, I was like, this is going to be, it's going to create a new environment for YouTube. Keep pushing. It's going to create a new environment. It needs to happen. Because now TikTok, YouTube is becoming almost as toxic as TikTok. It's ridiculous. Especially with the stuff people can say. It's disgusting. And these people are the same group.
The rate it's going, because you guys are getting a lot of attention from people you didn't even know were watching. A lot of attention, including the incoming presidential administration. And I cannot wait for that. The assistance that they will offer will bring Sebastian home. This is not bringing politics into it. This is not, I promise you. It is just a matter of resources that we need. We need resources. That's all. No politics. No BS, nothing about building a wall, none of that. What we do need is the president's help. And it's great to know that the president's family is extremely head set on solving this case and bringing answers for not just Sebastian's family, but for every resident in Tennessee who has a right to know what the hell's going on. You guys have a lot of missing kids there, and there's a reason why. It's laziness, it's a lot of stuff. But it's time for the federal government to take charge of that, do a review of every single missing person's case, find anomalies, find similarities, see what happened, and stop that pattern. It's far too late. We are speaking with senators in Tennessee, U.S. senators. We're speaking with congressmen and women. We are speaking with lawmakers. We are getting it done, but not just for this. Going forward, for the entire state and sake of Tennessee, for every child that might be abducted, they have a right to be found, and we want to protect that right. And we're not going to stop until we do. It's a simple right? It's not like this isn't a threat, guys. We're going to court. This is going to a courthouse. There's going to be a judge. I'm not the judge. We're going to argue our case. That's what that is. It's not a threat. It's a threat of a lawsuit. I guess they're going to twist that up, cut it up, put a punch and throw it in. But it's not. It's not. We just want to solve not just Sebastian's case, but solve the situation in Tennessee. Because if we don't get involved and if we don't do it, well, I'm not going to say who will, because I'm sure somebody will come along. But maybe 100 more kids go missing, 100 more kids die, and then then that's when no. The time for change is now. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So if you see something, report it to authorities. Stay safe. And guys, just because I'm not live, I just wanted to show you guys that I am alive. I'm here, but I am not on social media as much at all. The team is monitoring social media heavily. Keep sending tips. Keep sending information. If you see something, say something. Let's end the teams, guys. I want to emphasize that. Stop the whole team, one or the other. Don't do any of them. Team Sebastian, leave all the parents out of it for now.
Right.
All of them. We have to focus on Sebastian. If the world knows who the parents are, what the heck is that going to do for us when they see Sebastian walking down the street, right? They don't know who that is because now they know about the family drama of these people. Meanwhile, they can be eating dinner next to a missing child, discussing that kid's parents, and they don't know who it is. They don't know him because all they know are the parents' names and the side piece. Give me a break, guys. We have to make sure that they know about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They know his face. They know his age. They know his height. Everything else is secondary. Nobody gives a crap about the rest until he's found. That's when they'll care. So again, keep the drama away. And this goes for everybody. Please just stop it. And if you want to keep it going, it's just come on in and let's bring you into Pennsylvania and get it over with. Come on, just do it already. That way we can get you all in at once. But that's not to say that we know some of you think you're slick and you're going to wait a month or two and then try to jump in. It's not happening. We're pulling you guys in, even if we think you're good. Even if you haven't said much yet, you're getting pulled in if you said just one thing, just so we can make sure that you're not going to pop out again. That's been the problem that this Tennessee has had for the past year, is every time they think they solve the problem, another 15 idiots pop out with the same thing. Not happening here. We have a list of everybody that did that last time, and they're being added to the case. And we have a list of people who might do it this time, and they're being added to the case. That's the beautiful thing about RICO. You don't need to know each other. You just have to have connections that ultimately link with one another. I am pretty sure that Barbecue has a connection that 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 knows Clue, that knows so that's how RICO works. It's not about, I don't know that person. Well, I know you don't. That's the beautiful thing about it. Do you think that little John Doe knows Pablo Escobar? No. I don't know how that is. I'm sure he knows of him, doesn't know him, but still, organized crime, same thing, same stuff, except this is your first modern day RICO case, and it's going to make case law, because this case is going to decide if RICO is applicable to gangs on the internet. and I will leave it up to the courts to decide that. But this is going to be a benchmark case because they will decide, is RICO applicable to YouTube creators? Is it? I don't know. We're asking the court. We'll find that out, and obviously you will too. As soon as we have a hearing date, we'll let you know. There will be a hearing, and there will be many hearings. It's not going to be just one. Again, stay safe, stay vigilant. And as far as Granny's watching, if you are watching, this was in no way meant to slam you, but you are being taken advantage of by the other side, being your co-defendant. They think that, honestly, if I were you, I would have an attorney before you speak with her and her attorney, because her attorney is telling her what to tell you, and it's helping their strategy. Not that I care about strategy, but it's a shame to see you get really thrown into the ringer by the same person that is protecting you. Please reach out to Joe Lesniak if you want, and he can, if you have an attorney, put him in touch with him. And if you don't, still, Joe is happy to help you find an attorney for the first appearance, I'm sure, and also so you can have an attorney present when we discuss getting out of this thing for you, because there's a way out for some of the people that are in this. Others, there is no way out. The only way out is going to be by the judge's decision, that the judge is going to decide their ultimate fate. But some of you have a way out, and Granny, you are one of them. You are somebody that has a way out. Just if you have an attorney, please have him reach out to Lesniak. If you don't, still, you could shoot Lesniak an email. You can call him. He's allowed to. I believe he can speak to you as long as he gets you an attorney or helps you get an attorney. But we will make sure that happens if we have to. Again, please reach out. Stay safe, everybody. Stay vigilant. Stay out of the way. If you are a random person that's watching this, like those little creator guys, I don't even know where to start naming because there's so many. Just please don't. I can care less, but you should care, because you're going to be making YouTube videos for the next 10 years, and they're only going to cover your gas to get to court. That's about it. No matter what, we're not ending, we're not settling, we're going through litigation, we're going through depositions, and we're going to go to trial for some of these people. This is going to be a 4 to 5 year litigation. Let me put that back in. This won't end until the year 2030. There's going to be a new president, a whole new world by then. That's when this is going to be over. So next time you click go live, think about that. And if you want to be stuck on that live until 2030 with the rest of the people that are, that's fine. If you do, think about that. It's going to be a very long time, because by the time this thing gets to a jury, we're talking 6 years. Again, guys, stay safe, stay vigilant, and let's find Sebastian and bring him home.
Ooh, that's a lot of money too when you're talking about court appearance after court appearance after court appearance after court appearance as well. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And that's the 150. It's like, hey, I'm giving you a chance. Ain't that crazy though? Like, you should, I don't know. These people are like piranhas, man. Like, if you're not there to attack, if you're not there for them to attack you, they attack each other. It's crazy. They are like piranhas. It's absolutely nuts. All right, we're gonna check out this episode here. This is Jules on Jennifer Coffin Daffer yesterday. Here is the link to the episode. I'm going to have it on 1.25 speed. We're going to be starting late and ending a little early. We're starting about 12 minutes in, and then we're going to end about 30 minutes before it's over. There's the link for you to go check out the whole episode if you want to check it out. We are going to get into this here real quick. Let me get this down here. Let's go ahead and pull this up full screen. And we'll check out what they have to say. It was a really great conversation here that they had. Again, this is 1.25 speed. And thank you all for being here.
There's a dog lover, have a dog, in love with dogs. So I can't even imagine losing a dog. I haven't had a dog for many years, and now I have one. And when I lost Tigger, it was bad. I said, I don't want a dog, because you fall in love with them, and then 8 to 10 years later, you know you're going to lose them. But here we are. So not to digress, I want to get straight into Sebastian Rogers and take away some of the myths and some of the misunderstandings in terms of what really happened on the 26th in the morning to your understanding. And just so the audience knows, Julia has had a lot of interface, we'll just call it interface, with the Sumner County Sheriff's Department, TBI, and the other handlers that were involved. So she doesn't speak from a place of hearsay, she speaks from a place of knowledge. And that was the biggest reason why I wanted her on. So let's first talk about Max, because I think he's the central component to understanding really what happened that morning in terms of following a scent.
Right, exactly. And that's why I wanted to make sure you had copies of my paperwork. So and my communication with the TBI agents, so you could see. So a big thing is, a lot of people refer to Ken, I can't think of his last name, Ken Widener, the EMA director from down there. So a lot of people watched the interview with him and Nick Barris, and Nick asked him about the scent. And Ken says, none of them, my understanding, were on a trail that led to Sebastian. Now, Ken wasn't lying when he said that, but it's not for the reason that people think. So Max is a dual-purpose canine from Sumner County Sheriff's Office. He's trained in
really quick, I just want to let the audience know, Max was the dog that was on scene initially.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So Max is a dual-purpose canine from Sumner County. He's trained in narcotics and non-aggressive tracking. Non-aggressive tracking, I don't really like that word. It sounds really weird, but what that means is that canine's used for usually looking for a missing or endangered person. They're not a patrol canine. They're not looking for an apprehension at the end of their track.
I'm going to stop you there again, just to explain that the difference is, like with Cavalcante, many of us remember a canine tracking, and then they grab them with the mouth and get them to the ground and hold them so they can be apprehended. So just to show you the juxtaposition of your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a Bortak canine. That was Yoda from that dog he was a small mouth. That dog was awesome. But yeah, Bortak canine apprehended Cavalcante. That was pretty cool. But back to Max, he's trained in those two fields. So he's looking for a missing or endangered person. So that's why it specifically says, now a patrol canine looks for a fugitive typically. So Max got on site right away, and he started at the last known sighting of Sebastian, which is the Proudfoot property. So a lot of people think, oh, but if she wasn't home to give him an article of clothing, or like, how did that work? So there's two different types of canines that are used when it comes to this type of work. I can't speak to search and rescue organizations because I'm not a search and rescue person. I'm specifically I work with law enforcement canine handler. So Max is a tracking canine. So tracking dogs can also be talked to about ground disturbance is what they're looking for. So they're not scent specific canines if they're a tracking dog. Now a trailing dog is a scent specific. Trailing dogs are the ones that are given an article of clothing. Max, like I said, is non-aggressive tracking. So when Max started at that porch and was sniffing around, he picked up on the freshest, cleanest track that he could possibly pick up on, and he took off in that direction. And you can hear in the audio the handler's out of breath. He's clearly running, and you hear him say, Max picked the track back up. So he's clearly tracking something. Now, for that canine, Max to track over multiple Gators will come on my lap, I can tell. For Max to track over multiple surfaces like that, that's a lot of training that's involved in that, because most canines, if they lose a track, again, this is tracking dogs where they're not scent specific. So I can't emphasize that enough. Tracking dogs are not scent specific. Trailing canines are. They're the article canines. And Peace River Search and Rescue Canine from Florida, they have a very good description on their website too that people can look up. And so that's how Max was. Now, that's what Gator also. Sorry, my phone's ringing and it's over there, but it'll shut off in a second. I got the Imperial March going on right now, so hopefully it doesn't ring for too long. Sorry about that. But we were talking about Max. So the handler was out of breath. For a canine to track over multiple surfaces like that, because you have to think, he went over grass, he went over asphalt, he went over dirt, and then he eventually wound up at the water where he jumps in the pond. So again, that's a well-trained canine. It's very hard to hold a track for that far along. In grass, it's a bit easier, especially if there's like a mildew or some kind of like something to hold that scent in. But hard surface tracking is very hard to do. And Max went over a hard surface. He went all the way to that pond. So he was on the track of something fresh. Again, Ken isn't lying when he said it didn't lead to Sebastian. Sebastian was not sitting at the end of the track. Max is not a scent-specific dog. He's not specific to an individual person. He was just looking for a track, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I want to expand on this because for our audience, if you're wondering and questions, people might have questions, but let me make this clear. When we're talking about a non-specific tracking dog, it's literally a dog that's going to track the most freshest human scent. So it picks up, but we don't know whether that's Katie, whether that's Chris, or whether that's Sebastian.
Correct. That's why Ken Widener was not lying when he said none of them led to Sebastian, because Max can't talk to us. He can't tell us who he was following. It'd be great if he could. This would solve a lot of things. But whatever was at that house and at that porch and left, that's what Max was tracking. Again, he's not scent specific. He's looking for that ground disturbance. So that's what he was looking for when he was tracking that tracker.
And to expand on that a little bit more, but it doesn't mean it wasn't Sebastian. It could have been Sebastian. And it's also not something from days ago. It would have been something fresh. So as we know, he disappeared at 6. We all know that at about 3 o'clock in the morning, there were these lights. Now, according to, and this is hearsay, because according to the Proudfoots and to Seth, as I recall, both said that law enforcement told them those were trash truck lights in the area. So if Seth isn't lying, and if Katie and Chris aren't lying, then those were trash trucks, or that's what they were told, or law enforcement is not being forthcoming with the details about what those lights were. But this is all to say that if something was fresh that morning, it does make sense. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it could have been 3 scents, right? It could have been Katie and Sebastian that walked over there, or Katie and Chris that walked over there, whatever. Is that right?
It was just the freshest track, the most recent and freshest track he could find. So it could have been anybody. And that's why I said, if it had been, it wasn't from a couple of days ago, because again, if it were from a couple of days ago, there would have been footsteps all over that property, like in circles going to the driveway or whatnot. But that's why you shut down the scene right away and get that tracking dog in there as soon as possible, because you don't want multiple people crossing, because by that point in time, later on in the day, more searchers are showing up. So you don't want that track compromised at all by more. That's why you shut down the scene and take that tracking dog from the last known point to wherever he's going almost immediately. And it sounds like Max was on location pretty fast based off of what I've been told from the audio. It sounds like he was there pretty quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. If you listen to the body-worn camera footage that I've posted several times on my Twitter, you can hear them all discussing, oh, he picked back up again. And, and that's near that construction site, that retention pond, which then Max jumps into. So I will say this, from a logic standpoint, would it be logical, since Chris Proudfoot was purportedly not even in the area, for him to have taken those steps? Would it have been logical for Katie Proudfoot to have gone toward the retention pond? Or would it have been logical for Sebastian Rogers to have left that house, at least at some point, to make those tracks? For me, I'd look at possibilities and probabilities. Certainly possible for any of them, but I think the needle goes toward more probable that those tracks could have been left by Sebastian.
It was whoever went towards that area the most recently, that's who he was following. And people might say, well, what if like somebody walked out and came back? Again, if someone did walk out and come back and go inside the house, that's still probably the freshest track anyway, regardless, because we don't see any other movement that we know of in the yard after that time period. So whatever that was the freshest thing that Max picked up on. So, and Katie woke up the next morning, was running around the house looking for him. So there really wasn't any other type of like disturbance going from that point of the house all to that pond, like after whatever supposedly happened that night. So I wish Max could talk. He could tell us a lot of things. I really wish we could learn from him. So
let's talk about the other 4 canines, because although we've heard about a total of 12 that might have been involved at one point or the other, the ones that I understand to be involved, there are 5, but the other 4 were involved later. Can you tell us dog by dog what you know?
I can only speak to the 5 because in the very beginning, when I was talking to, Seth, and I talked to Chris and I talked to TBI, they all mentioned those 5 to me specifically because from what I'm gathering, they were the first 5 dogs that were there almost immediately. Now, any other dogs that came by after that, I honestly can't speak to, but I know EquiSearch had canines. I know there's a Cajun Navy person who had a Belgian Malinois that was there. I believe that was a cadaver dog, or a volunteer that was helping the Cajun Navy before I was even down there. And then TBI had a canine, and then the 2 Sumner County dogs. Both the Sumner County dogs are trained in the same thing, dual purpose narcotics and tracking. So I can only speak to those 5 dogs. Anything else after that, I honestly can't speak to, but it sounds like once those first 5 were done and out of the way, there were multiple dogs. And then there's landfill search also. That was a whole other separate deal too. In Kentucky, I think the landfill was.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about the different specificities of canines, because you turned me on to one that I had never heard of that has to do with trauma, a trauma dog. So can you go through the different areas that dogs are trained in?
Sure. So we have explosives canines, which is like Marley. Then we have narcotics. Well, let me start. There's single-purpose dogs, there's dual-purpose dogs, and there's multi-purpose dogs. And that's just genetically whatever the dog can do. Like Marley, she's dual-purpose. She's tracking and she's explosive. She's never going to be a patrol dog. We jokingly say she doesn't know how to bite because I don't think she knows how to. If a burglar broke in my house, she'd hold the bag for them. I guarantee you. But then there's single, dual, multi-purpose. Now explosives, narcotics, contraband, canines is a big one, and that's for like prisons with like cell phones. When people sneak cell phones into prisons, especially the old flip phones, and the ones with the whole like circuit board, like those canines, those are newer into the system. There's electronics canines too, lithium-ion battery canines. There's the trauma canines, like we mentioned. I never heard of that until the Chris Watts skates when they had the Labrador walking through the house. That's the first time I ever heard of a trauma canine. I'm really fascinated by what trauma canines. It sounds like they go off of if there was like a struggle or something going on. There's something they pick. I don't know much about them, but I think they're fascinating. It'd be cool. I really want to learn more about them. And then we have the tracking canines, the trailing canines, and cadaver dogs, of course, too. So those are the canines that are just really, and it's incredible what these dogs can accomplish. Then you have your therapy dogs. Police departments, actually, there are certifications right now for police therapy dogs, and those dogs are like the 9/11 dogs, which were on site after September 11th, and they went and really helped those first responders out. So it's kind of like the Canine Good Citizen test, like the AKC does, only it's a police department level cert. So I think those are pretty cool.
That is really amazing. And I love how you just reeled all of that off, all these different areas. And I wanted to just, on a side note, let people know, in the Bureau, in my experience, we only had cadaver dogs. When we needed an explosive dog, we contacted the ATF. When we needed a narcotic dog, we contacted the local sheriff's office, local departments that had their canines. I mean, I had them on speed dial when I was working narcotics. I actually have a funny story. I won't share it now, but it's hilarious about when I called one of these canine handlers and he thought I was somebody else. So that's story. But nevertheless, a lot of people think that the Bureau has all of these different areas of dogs, and unless something's changed, that's not the case. But I will say, I'm speaking about regionally in Texas, Dallas, Houston. Those were the offices that I worked at with the use of canines. So perhaps in other regions, but I guess this is all to say how closely we work with other departments, and because they have the ability to have their dogs with them all the time, and that is all they do. So it's an amazing what the dogs can do.
It's all in the department funding. Not every department can afford a canine specializing in every field, and a lot of people think you have to be a member of search and rescue to have a cadaver canine, and that's not the case, because like you said, you had them with the FBI. I've seen a lot of police departments have them. So there's an assumption that like you have to be a search and rescue person to have a cadaver dog, and that's not, or a tracking dog, and that's not the case at all. The certification is the same test, but they're all trained kind of differently leading up to that. I can't speak to search and rescue because I'm not a member, but from what I know, like you can't have apprehension canines in search and rescue. For the purpose of search and rescue, you're looking for a missing person or an endangered person. You don't want the canine, a patrol canine going out and being a dual purpose cadaver patrol canine and then actually biting somebody. That's why search and rescue, there's certain rules about what a canine can do, but I'm sure there's plenty of search and rescue people here that could probably speak to that too. But you don't have to be a search and rescue person to have a cadaver canine. Because like you said, you had them in the FBI too, and like the Secret Service has them. Secret Service has a lot of Marshall, who's from the Philadelphia area originally. He had that dog Hurricane, the one who apprehended the guy who broke inside the White House during the Obama administration. Hurricane got really banged up. That like the first dog, the handler let him go, and I guess his leash got caught up on a fence or something. So Hurricane went after the guy, and Hurricane, you guys can look him up. He's awesome. Hurricane fought that guy like with all that he had. He saved. He got Canine Medal of Valor for it. So like Marshall owns Hurricane's Heroes. It's a great ornament, but like Hurricane, that dog is 15 years old and still walking around like a badass dog. So he's awesome. And there's no age limit to canines either. So it's whenever a dog can no longer certify. Gator, who's on the table right now, he's 9. And some people said, well, isn't he too old? No, as long as he can pass the certification, we can certify as a team and he can function. There is no age limit to canines. So he's right here right now. So yeah, say hi.
Gator. Another question. There's a lot of people who have a misconception that dogs cannot search, scent, and water. Explain how they can.
Again, it all goes with training and experience. Putting your dog off of an odor. Like I've had people on site at like concerts ask me, "Hey, if I wanted to sneak weed past your dog, how do I do that?" And it's just like, A, why you ask me that, and B, he's still gonna probably smell it anyway. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing with like water. It's all about training and how often you expose the dog to it. Same thing with anything else. So a lot of canines who like lose the scent at the water, they're very capable. Canines are genetically capable of tracking, through water. But if they're not exposed to that enough, then they're not going to, figure out how to do it or how to be successful at that. So that's why with Gator, because he came from Arizona before I became his handler, he was so used to tracking like a desert or tracking in like that type of environment. So when he came here to the Pennsylvania woods, when I first got him, he was good, but at first I kind of tell he wasn't confident. Like in dogs, 100% canines, you can tell when they're confident and when they're not. And I could tell like he was kind of like, I think I know what I'm doing, but I'm not sure. He wasn't really exposed to the Pennsylvania forest. So we worked and worked and worked, and now he loves to track. He looks forward to tracking in the mornings, especially, and like the same thing with snow. You can't really stage snow, but I mean snow, moisture and whatnot. So like he's getting there. We haven't tried it in a while because we haven't had snow in Pennsylvania for a long time, but it's the same concept with snow as it is water.
So another question, when we know that Max jumped in that retention pond and we know law enforcement drained that pond and there was no Sebastian, is it reasonable to think that Sebastian or the person with that scent went into that pond and that's why he jumped in?
He could have, or something. I mean, he could have stepped into the pond, or something ended at that pond. Now, if he was an article-specific canine, I would say if he was given an article at the beginning of the track and he followed it and then jumped in the pond, if he was article-specific, something also could have been discarded in there, and that's what he was still tracking. Because again, he's tracking the footsteps. So footsteps, one way or the other, led to that pond. And if Sebastian had walked through there because it was a more shallow area of water, he 100% could have been, still thinking, hey, something's here. That doesn't mean like that's where somebody no longer existed on this. I know, because I'd be careful. No longer existed on this planet at that point in time. But either way, something stopped there. The movement was halted at that point in time because he didn't abruptly stop anywhere else on that track. He continued up until that point. And I mean, if someone had walked through and went to the other side, I have zero doubts with how well that dog tracked over grass, gravel, dirt. If someone walked through that and exited the other side, I have no doubt in my mind he would have continued through the pond and then got up and then still kept going. Because even if he was only paired with that handler for a shorter period of time, Max, I believe, is 5 years old, and he's been with a different department before. So the dog knows what he's doing. And I mean, they were still a certified team, so he had to know what he was doing to get the duty. Sorry, Gator's saying hi now.
So let me ask this question. What if, hypothetically thinking of this, Sebastian left his house, went to that pond, and something happened to him in that pond, later was found, maybe concerned about liability or something, and picked him up and took him, would the dog know to pick up on the other scents coming away from that pond? Or because his goal was to start with the original scent and follow it, then that's sort of the end of the game?
Let me answer the best way I can. So whatever since Max was the tracking canine, whatever that freshest thing was, I understand what you're saying. Like if something happened there and then they realized, oh, let me go back, and it sounds like Max stopped and ended there. He didn't like get out and then walk towards like a parking lot like further off where someone could have carried somebody to a cart in the distance or something. The scent ended there. Now, if it was a scent specific canine, it could have been a bit different. But again, that all depends on the dog training and what he's been exposed to. But for me, from what I've gathered from the audio and from talking to other handlers, especially ones that have been in the area, it sounds like everything just stopped right there. And this is like with the Lacey Peterson case. That dog was an article trained canine. So they had her sunglasses, they gave it to the dog, but this is after the husband handled the glasses and gave them to the handler. Obviously the husband was wearing gloves when he handed them off, and that dog tracked to like that pier area and it just stopped. So at that point, that's why article specific canines can be finicky. And this is why I mentioned before in the beginning, if I'm doing an article search, I want a shoe insole because that has the person's sweat on it. The chances of like cross transfer, whatnot, are less because I don't see someone taking someone's insoles out of their shoes all the time just to wash them. I mean, maybe people do that, but I mean, a shirt, like think of how many people like, if you wash your husband's clothes and whatnot, you've touched a shirt, he's touched a shirt. If like a buddy were to like kind of give him a pat on the back, he's touched a shirt. That scent isn't gonna be as strong as you or your husband, but that's why I want like a shoe insole. Or I believe Nancy Grace asked about that carpet in Sebastian's room because Sebastian was barefoot in his room. And he was walking around in his room. How often are other people being barefoot in his room aside from him? So I think she was asking about that for the canine, but it could have been anything. But I want something specific to that person with the least amount of cross-contamination possibility. But articles can be tricky.
So let me ask about that, because we know that Max picked up on a non-specific scent. Why in the world? And I thought I recalled, though, that they did give something like socks or other clothing. It was a little confusing. Different people said different things. Why didn't they use the article, to your knowledge?
Max is an article trained. He's looking for that ground disturbance. Now the later dogs, from what I was told, a pillowcase was taken, shoes were taking. Even Chris and Seth both had told me that, because I spoke to both of them about this, because I wanted to know like what each of them knew about the canines. There were clothes that were taken specifically for like, evidence and whatnot, and there were clothes that were taken specifically for canines. Because like some people say, well, our cops just going to give random handlers clothing if it's evidence. That's why they take multiples. Some's held for evidence and some's used specifically for work, like, canines and everything. So that's how people who are like searchers can still get clothing through organizations. But yeah, to my knowledge, I know that one of the EquiSearch dogs was an article canine. So it just
wasn't that the dog with the Cajun Navy? Was that the Cajun Navy dog?
There was a couple. So there was a kid. Oh, are you thinking of the Malinois? Because I think that was a cadaver canine that.
I remembered that was a different area. So he was the only cadaver dog, I think, of the five.
That was the one that I saw, and a lot of people. I mentioned this to you. With the landfill search, there were canines at the landfill, and when people think about landfill searches, they automatically think, oh, it's a cadaver dog. That's not always necessarily the case, because again, what if you have an electronics canine looking for something? Here in Pennsylvania, we can't throw big electronics or lithium batteries out in our regular trash. They have to go specifically to a recycling center. So I haven't seen the probable cause affidavit myself, but I mean, just because canine search doesn't always mean they were cadaver dogs. I'm sure one of them was a cadaver canine, but you have to think we don't know, to quote Sheriff Craddock. But that could have been a lithium-ion canine looking for electronics. It really could have been anything. And I mean,
that's two: electronic or cadaver. Pretty much, because you wouldn't need a narcotic dog in this case,
unless they were looking for his disposed medication. I wouldn't think so. But again, when people automatically think, and my mind used to go there too before I was a handler, like cadaver dog, obviously in a landfill. But that was before I knew about lithium-ion canines. That was before I knew about narcotics and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't see an explosives canine going out there. But we don't honestly know. I mean, it could have been anything.
Well, and back to your point, because I think it's a great one. That you and I talked about before, just what you're saying there, the dogs that were out on that landfill search could have been any practice. But my point always was, you do not do a landfill search unless you believe there is foul play. He didn't walk to that landfill in Kentucky. Somebody would have had to take him there, or the lithium batteries there, or his medication there, whatever they were searching for. No matter what, when you have a landfill search, and I know they tried to pass it off as this is routine. Yeah. I challenge you to find any case where there is a routine landfill search. You have to get a search warrant, which is a probable cause statement. It has to be made. People think that those are so easy, and they're not. You sit there and you have to go through point by point what you have to prove to a judge. So a judge says, oh my gosh, I can actually get through the Sixth Amendment violation issue and let these people go in. And this is ultra invasive search with multiple parties searching. So I loved when you told us that it could be different sorts of dogs in there, because I had never thought of a lithium battery, but sadly it's still the same issue for me. That is law enforcement's concern about a foul play situation.
Right. I mean, and people think foul play means like, unaliving somebody, but it could mean disposal of evidence. It could mean anything. Honestly, foul play to me is any kind of negative intention. So that's why, for me, it's just like in the beginning, I remember thinking, oh my God, it was obviously cadaver dogs. But the more I kind of sat back and took a break from everything for a bit, to focus on, taking care of, like, we have a unit coming up for mobilization sometime next year. So focusing on like full scale commander duties and stuff. I remember thinking, I was like, wait a second. I'm like, we never officially heard what those dogs were looking for there, because we've never seen the probable cause affidavit. We've never seen, for me, as like, an MP when I was active duty at Fort Leonard Wood, the only time we wouldn't need a probable cause affidavit is like if we were responding to something and there was like a domestic next door and it was very obvious like somebody was getting like battered, we could
exigent circumstances.
Right. That's yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's the words I was looking for. So that's a bit different. But for a land, and especially because you're dealing with state lines, it's a different state, getting a judge to do everything and working with different organizations. So you're right. It's very there's a lot that goes into it, and the timing compared to when was the trash picked up versus when did they finally get out there. I thought it was day 8 that they were out there, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe someone else knows, but I thought it was day 8 that they were finally out there, but it could have been sooner or later. I'm not sure. I hear day 8 sticking in my mind for some reason.
It sticks in my mind about a week. And the biggest problem with that too was the Kentucky landfill, as I recall, was where the construction trash went, if I remember right. Or maybe it was the house trash. Gosh, I needed to re-look that up. But in other words, it was a different place. There were 2 different landfills that could have been involved in this case, right? Where their personal trash was versus the construction site. And they only covered one. That never made much sense to me either. But as I recall, it was the place. And somebody in chat might know, I hate to
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because I didn't hear that officially from. It doesn't mean it's not true, but I didn't hear it officially from like a law enforcement official. But I did hear that through a bunch of other people. So to me, that was weird because unless it's like a bulk trash or like disposal of special construction materials, like I said, here in Pennsylvania, we can't throw out big electronics, even computers. You have to schedule an appointment with like a recycling center and dispose of those. Now, if there was hypothetically, if there were cameras in the house they thought of were disposed of, maybe they were just like, well, where are they now? They could have searched a recycling center before. We don't know, and honestly, we haven't really been told a whole lot in regards to this stuff. But sitting back and really looking at like taking a step back, and I started looking at this I was very, in the beginning, I was very emotionally involved. I was just like, oh my God, putting my heart into stuff. And then I was like, Julia, you have to take a step back. I've done commander's inquiry investigations before, active duty, and like when I was at Fort Leonard Wood and even as an AGR, I've looked at both sides of the story. And when you do that, you ask yourself more questions. That's why I thought of what if they weren't cadaver dogs? What if they were a different kind of canine? Or looking at Max's actual profile and seeing what he was trained in, and thinking about Ken Widener's statement, thinking, oh my, he wasn't lying. He was telling a factual statement that like we don't know who that was, but it was something. So I just didn't want people to think the worst automatically, like, oh, there's no scent and Sebastian just poofed. There was a track of something from the house.
You couldn't say 100% it's Sebastian or who it would be, but you have to use. I could see that being used in a probable cause affidavit because when you start, if Chris Proudfoot truly wasn't there, if, why would the mother leave? We have a missing child that could have, eloped, to use the word for autistic people who decide to leave. It makes some sense. And I think it's super important. But back to the article question. Why wouldn't, we talked about Max isn't trained in that, but you said there was one dog you thought trained. Did he get there too late, or do you know how that played out?
I have to go back and I can send this to you in like an email later. I can't remember if it was the TBI canine or the Equisearch canine that was article trained. All I know is the two from Sumner County were those footstep trackers. Now, if it was an out of state person, that could have been why it was late on the article being used. For starters, but I'd have to go back and see which canine was definitely trained in which. But I mean, a scent can last, like an article specific canine scent can last for a couple of days, especially if someone's being moved around or something. That's a bit different because they're looking for that specific person scent as opposed to a footstep tracker. And I explain to people like this, for example, because everyone thinks you have to have an article of clothing. You don't. When an inmate escapes from a prison facility, the chances, yes, you turn in some stuff when you get your, but like the chances of them having like an article as like, designated to their person, that's like that's what the canines you see like going out and just tracking right away is because they're looking for that for inmates especially. Most likely you're not gonna have an article track an inmate. That's why when I was explaining to people, like, you don't have to have an article track person. But back to your question, I'll find out for you for sure which canine that was and when they got there. But a canine can track a scent for multiple days depending on the age, the training, what they're given as far as an article goes, and how well they can retain that. So it could have been they were there a little too late, but honestly, there's a lot of questions I still have in regards to that I haven't gotten full answers on yet.
So in regard to that, as far as you know, and as far as we know, did any canine of those first 5 track Sebastian?
As far as I know, those first 5, none were confirmed to track because they haven't found him yet. So as far as I know, of those first 5, at least 3.
Of Sebastian based on an article. I should
none that can be 100% confirmed because I've only heard hearsay. Like I heard a dog went to like a trash can somewhere. I heard a dog went to like the middle of the road. So, and that's what I've heard from through the streets. As far as I've been told from officials like TBI in Sumner County, I have talked to, they only mentioned Max's track. But as far as like picking up a track for Sebastian, the dogs can't talk to us, so we won't know even if they are article specific. We'll never know, unfortunately. So I know that's not the answer that everybody wants to hear, but that's the truth. We honestly, we don't know, and that's what's really sad.
Yeah, it's sad because it's still really a question mark. I find it, though, as an investigator, important that a track was followed, a fresh track was followed. I think that's super significant. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I wanted you on, Julia, was really to educate us all on the breadth of what canines can do, and then specifically hone in on what happened with Sebastian. And I feel like, for me, you answered so many questions. Julia, what am I leaving out in terms of Sebastian and other searches that took place looking for him?
I honestly can't think of anything really right now. I'll remember something at like 2 a.m. watch, but I can't think of anything right now. Like I said, I really hope that he's found soon. The biggest thing is, unfortunately, we can't communicate with the dog, so we don't know. All I know is that Max, we have a saying in the canine world, and there's any other handlers in the chat that can do this, or police officers. We say, trust your dog. And I trust my dogs when they're on a track of something, because I've questioned before when Gator hit on a peanut butter sandwich in a rehab facility. I kept thinking to myself, this is really embarrassing. Why is he eating a peanut butter sandwich? It turned out somebody was storing Xanax pills inside their peanut butter sandwich that somebody sent to them through a gift in the mail. So like, and I remember thinking, why didn't I just trust him? Because like at first I'm like, no, leave it alone. And then I said to the orderly, I'm like, for some reason he's saying there's something here. And the orderly took the sandwich out and he came back. He's like, you'll never guess. And then he told me, I was like, oh. And I looked at Gator and he's just sitting there, just tilting his head all like, well, aren't you going to say good job? And I'm just like, yes. So that's why I say trust your dog. And the big thing I can't emphasize enough is Max went over multiple surfaces. He was pulling his handler. And I will say this, I know some people ask me when I don't know about when you wrote your reports, if I were writing a report, I haven't heard law enforcement officially come out and say all issues were accounted for. I've only heard that through other people. And I think Sheriff Craddock even said in his interview, I think he said, the mother said all the shoes were accounted for. So I haven't heard yet. You know, people were thinking about him living barefoot, but like Seth was saying, and I do stand by, Seth was saying with the incident with the fire ants. I mentioned to you, my cousin Dolores. She's not high functioning like Sebastian is. She's extremely withdrawn. Like she doesn't even like when she doesn't like anything sticky or anything being wet. So when she comes home and like if she's wearing long sleeves and her sleeves get like damp and like they're touching her skin, she doesn't like, and she doesn't like it because the one time that happened to her and she got freezing and she couldn't forget feeling so cold. So that's why like with the leading barefoot thing, again, a footstep tracking canine is looking for that freshest track, whether they're barefoot or not. But it's just when I write reports, if I was talking about footprints, I would specify barefoot if I was talking about someone running away with like no shoes on. But from what I remember in the audio, I remember Max's handler saying boot prints. So I think the dispatcher or the other officer asked barefoot prints. And I didn't hear Max's handler confirm that. I just heard him say footprints. But if I'm writing a report or something, I would say footprints regardless. I would specify barefoot. So that's the one thing I just thought about was the barefoot versus regular shoes thing. That's the only thing I can think of. So again, I haven't heard law enforcement officially confirm that yet. And I believe Seth, when he was saying Sebastian had the trauma from the fire ants thing, when Seth told me that story, he was very sincere and he was adamant. He was like, that was not a good experience for him. So, I mean, my heart breaks for all three of them. Honestly, I hate seeing it like this. I really hope we get an answer one way or the other. I don't have children, so I can't say I'm, you know, I can sympathize with. I feel horrible for them. So I just hope he's found soon. I really, really do. And you know,
beautiful words there, and I like that you brought that home because I remember listening to that recording, that body-worn camera recording, and I thought they said shoe prints or footprint. There was no specification, and I thought they even asked. I need to go back and listen to that again. But as my recollection is, I thought somebody said barefoot or something to that degree, and he says no, shoe prints or footprints. So that is interesting because is it a, you know, I think Katie Proudfoot, at least from what we've seen of that house, was extremely organized. And what we know seems to be sort of, you know, controlling whatever, you know, in control of the space that she would know if he was barefoot or not. One of the biggest problems with this case, not to digress too much, is the fact that we really only have Katie Proudfoot's word for everything.
Yeah, and again, I don't have kids, but I know that there's been times in cases where I've interviewed people for commander's inquiry interviews when someone's really upset. I mean, you got to think her son's missing. She could have been interviewing and disclosed like all the shoes were here, but then later on, what if she's just like I mean, nobody wants to be seen as like a liar to the eyes of law enforcement. Like if she said that it was, and then she remembered there was another pair. She's already mentioned the shoes were accounted for. So I can see that. I mean, that could be, you know, reaching, but I mean, I believe all three of these parents love Sebastian. I really, really do. And I've spoken to Seth. I've spoken to Chris. Seth was always nice to me. Chris was nice to me. Thanked me for my service. Seth thanked me for my service. I never spoke to Katie, you know, voice to voice, but over Messenger a while ago, she asked me for a decal that my cousin helped me make, and I mean, that was nice of her to ask. So I believe they all love Sebastian. I believe they all really do miss him, and I can see that clearly. I just hope he's found soon, and I'm sure Seth would love to take him fishing again and out on the boat and stuff. I mean, I've never been fishing before, but it sounds like it's something they really enjoyed doing, was spending the time together. So I really hope that he's brought home soon. So.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the time you spent tonight. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, which a lot of people don't have the knowledge breadth that you have in this arena. So thank you so much for joining us. And I just appreciate you and everything you've done for our country too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. So it was great talking to you. And I wasn't reading the comments. I was just trying to stay focused on what we were talking about.
I read them kind of at the end when it's all over.
Yeah.
And try to answer questions because I like to have the dialogue and get it all out, all the questions. So
yeah, and I just wanted to stay focused on like the facts and not, there's a lot going on in this case. So I just wanted to stay very clear-minded and focused. But thank you so much again for having me, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. And I think we're going to be getting snow here in Pennsylvania in the next 2 weeks, so that's going to be. We'll have to do some tracking the snow training for sure.
To go track and snow.
We'll
Julie,
try it.
stay in touch, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, we'll go ahead and pause that there again. If you want to watch the full episode, please do. Yeah, sorry, baby Angel was freaking out. Now I have a question. And let me know, is this so? Is Katrina still in chat? Katrina, if you're still in chat, let me know. I got a question. Is this supposed to be supposedly when? Is this supposedly? I'm gonna have to look at my footage. Is this supposed to be like security cameras on the PFs? Let me look at something here. I'm gonna go to my let me see. Let me see if I can find my old videos. Let me see here. Hold on. What is this? Let me check something here. Okay, so this is going to be the neighborhood drive around in the very beginning. Let's see if these cameras are on the PF's home. Let's see if these cameras are on the PF's home. Are these supposed to be cameras that... All right, so we're going to go through this. Now, this footage is just a few weeks after he went missing. We're going to see if I can see these cameras on the side of the house. So just give it a few more minutes here. We're going to look to see if these cameras existed on the side of the Proudfoot's home. This is just a few weeks after he went missing. It's like, people, why do you take footage? This is a reason why I take footage, because sometimes we need to go back in time. Now, what I'm doing is I did a little loop. I'm going through the whole neighborhood. I'm going up around where the construction's at. Then I'm going to come back around and go by the PF's home. So it's just going to take a minute here. I'm just going to let it play. And we're going to check it out. I'm going to find out. Let me see here. We'll figure out. Let's see. Let me find out. I'll find out what video it is. Then we'll take a screenshot of it. And then we'll zoom it in so you guys can see. This is GoPro 5.3K. So whenever we zoom it in, it should be pretty damn clear as well. Because remember when I was there, oh my gosh, when was it? Remember she had Brinks showing up and there was other security people coming out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if, yes, that's what it looks like now. I did a neighborhood sweep, I think in August or September again, so I can compare it too. But this right here, this is footage from just a few weeks after. he went missing. So we're going to find out. All right, so we're looping around. This, again, is that road that leads you to the construction. And right back over there is where Sebastian's home was. Now we're going to be turning right, going down Kellen Lane, then turning onto Stafford. So we're almost there. See, right there's Kellen Lane we're turning on. Now we're heading south on Kellen Lane. We're going to find out. All right, so this is, let me see. This is 10,709. So 10,709. And then I need to pull up the real raw video, take a screenshot of the raw video. And I'll probably take a few of them so we can zoom in on it. We'll see if they match. All right, so we're going to look at a timestamp of 4:28. And right there, that'll give us the perfect view. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up the raw video. Number 10,709. All right, so let me pull that up. 10,709. Okay, go to timestamp. I need to go to timestamp 4:34. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to make a couple screenshots here. All right, 4:34. Just give me one moment here. Oh, this is so clear. Ooh, let me get a screenshot of this too, because it might be good to get it from this angle as well. Right there. All right, let me get a screenshot of this. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm going to take a few of them here, so it's going to take me a couple minutes. Please be patient. But we're gonna see. All right, there's that one. Because that one might be very important too when it comes to. All right, we'll take that screenshot. All right, there's that one. Here, let me screen share. I'll show you what I'm doing as I'm taking the screenshots here. Hold on. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing as we're taking the screenshots. Let's see, we got a screenshot. Isn't it crisp and clear? Isn't it beautiful, people? The footage is just... It's so important, and you can slow it down at slow speeds and literally just see it at its absolute clarity. All right, so let's get one going right there. Little screenshot action. Give me 1 second. I should be showing you guys this stuff when I'm doing the screenshots instead of it just sitting on a normal screen there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a couple more too. Let me go back to Skosh. Let's take one of that. Let's take one of that right there too. I thought my eyesight. I mean, if it looks better to show the videos this way, let me know. All right, there's that one. What's up, Nikki? Sorry, I can't see chat too good because I trying to. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see there. Right before. Hold on. I want to get the lighting in a certain. I'm going to take one right there. And let me just go through it one more time, and then we're going to scan these pictures, and we're going to see if they match up. We'll go through each one. Want some snow? No. It looks clearer like this than it does the other way. I'll start playing it like this if it does. Shoot. I mean, look at the detail on that brick, you guys. Come on now. Look at the blades of grass. All right. Let me see here. Okay, so we got one there. I want to get it right before that tree branch. Hold on. Oh, I just missed it. Ah, dang it. Come on now. I gotta get it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Okay. All right, we should be good. Let's go through these photos. So, all right. So what we're looking at is, where'd it go? So what we're looking at is basically this right here. Okay, so it's supposed to be here, supposed to be here, and it's supposed to be like that. So the front right corner is what we're going to be looking at. Those are the screenshots that I took. This is footage that I took again from just a few weeks after he went missing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one here and see what we're looking at. Let me see, is it this one right here? Okay. Okay, you definitely see that light hanging down. So when we're looking at that photo, you do see that floodlight. Let me go back to it. So again, when you're looking at that photo, you see that white light hanging down right there. That's what we see. All right, let's go to the next photo. Okay. Now, I want everybody to see something here. Okay. All right. I want you guys to pay attention. You see this area right here. Okay. Very important. You see this area right here. Okay. You see this floodlight right here. You see how big the floodlight is compared to this area. Okay. I'm gonna flip to this photo. I don't think these cameras are from when I think these were installed after Sebastian went missing. And here's why. Here's why. When you go to this photo, you see how you can see how dark it is. You see how dark it is. You see how big this floodlight is? You see how big this dark spot is on this lens. It's pretty large when you're comparing it to the floodlight. It's pretty large. For some reason, my chat just disappeared. It's pretty large. That black lens is really large compared to the floodlight. Okay? When we look at this photo, I don't see a lens. You see the floodlight right here. You see how big my hand is on this screen? You basically make it half of my hand, okay? You take my hand, it's half of my hand. Get rid of the fingers. That would be the black dot over here. I don't see a black dot there, people. I don't. I don't. That one, it's hard to tell, but if I see a dot, I see a white dot. I don't see a lens. I don't see a camera there either. I see a floodlight. I don't see a camera. Again, we'll go back to this other photo. That sticks out. It not only sticks out and down, but it's got a large lens on it. When you're looking at this photo, I don't see anything sticking out. Look, floodlight, nothing sticking out. Floodlight, nothing sticking out. Nothing. So when it comes to these photos, I think they're fake. Or I'm not going to say they're fake. Like I told you before, I think it was April sometime, maybe end of April, beginning of May, end of April. I think it was end of April. Yes, it was the end of April because I was going back to re-strategize after we did a whole bunch of searches. That's right. It was the end of April because I was going back. That's when all that shit from PF on my YouTube shit and this and that, you know, that's when that took place. That was the same exact time that I saw, because I said, look, if I was trying to be clicks and views about it, I would have went back when I saw Katie and the security people talking at the front door. If I was really about the clicks, I would have pulled over and took a camera and look, guys, look. No, I went and parked at the church and I got into my work that I was doing. It had not, you know what I mean? That was the same day that I noticed. So I bet you these photos they have to be from I would say after late April. I'm just going to give you a time limit, like an estimated time. These were not photos from when Sebastian went missing. Where did these come from anyway? Where did these come from? Because I could definitely see like them you know, getting that stuff because of all the stuff that they were getting. But this picture shows you right here. This is the best picture. That's the best picture right there. That shows you there was nada. No, those pictures are fake. Thank you. I appreciate you guys sending them because I mean, you know, that is something huge. When it comes, what if there was those cameras? This is why I just want to say it really means everything to me with your guys' support that I can go out there and do this kind of work and document this stuff, because we can go back in time. We can go back in time and really find the truth. And this is the truth. The truth is those those cameras, nah, they're debunked. So if anybody has any questions, just tell them to come to the 2-hour and 25-minute mark of this episode, and you can see us show the difference of footage from just a few weeks after he went missing compared to whatever else is out there. The footage is in there for you guys in the video section. It's a long ways away, but it's in there. I even give you a front view and a side view. And then if you have two YouTubes that you can play, you know, screen half, guess what? You can watch the front and the side at the same time, like you're riding in the car. I did it for you. Do I ever sleep? Yeah, I sleep from about 2 or 3 in the morning until about 7 or 8 is when I sleep. Trust me, I have a lot of work to do. I have stuff to do after this is done. And then I got to get up. I'm hopefully going to be trying to go look at another camper. So fingers crossed on that. And then we got 2 shows tomorrow. We're going to have a busy weekend, too. We got 2 shows tomorrow. We got Amber Burbilia live on location. I'm going to be showing you guys something. I'm recreating the scene in 2024 to try and give you more atmosphere, I'll call it, when it comes to what was taking place back in 2013. Also, we're going to be having a show tomorrow night on Amber Burbilia. We're going to be going through the FOIAs. We've had the FOIAs for a few weeks now. We're going to be going through the FOIAs, the dash cam again, the transcripts, also some more footage, and fingers crossed, we'll have a guest on if they can make it. If not, we're going to have them on very soon. And then Saturday, we're going to be doing a Micah Miller show. And then I think we're going to be doing another Amber Burbilia show. And then on Sunday, we're going to be doing a Micah Miller protest. And then after the Micah Miller protest, we're going to be doing an Amber Burbilia live on location episode as well. So it's going to be a lot of stuff going on the next few days. So when it comes to like Monday and Tuesday, we'll be making our way back to Tennessee. We're going to be going back to Tennessee here in a few days. So we'll be taking a couple day break in between that. And then we'll be hitting Tennessee hard. Yes, you should check out my Idaho 4 to know. Actually, Idaho 4, the crime happened a few days after we started our show. And Idaho 4 is the reason why we became a true crime show and eventually became Evil CJ Media and Investigations. That is a case that we have always been invested in since the first day. And go to some of the shows. Look under the tabs of the video section, Idaho 4. It'll blow your mind, all the stuff that we've uncovered, discovered, and called out and even exposed. So, yeah, if I can get this camper, trust me, we're going to be Idaho 4 trial every single day. Contribution call out, Pam Silvis with the $2 super chat. CJ is the hardest working YouTuber. I appreciate that, Pam, and thank you so much for your support. And thank you all for your support. And please hit the like if you haven't yet. It is the free way to help. I want to say thank you all. Definitely, if you're just joining the show, you got to go from the beginning, because when you guys see, if you guys haven't watched the part 1, the part 2, the part 3 of the manhole theory, you definitely got to check out part 3. And also, you definitely got to check out from the beginning of this episode, because when it comes to especially the part 3, and I'm trying to explain to you the differences and this and that, I show you and I go through all the footage from all those different instances, and I show you all the changes and all the different, just the craziness of all the mud and everything that's taken place and still does. It still does. And when we go back in a few days, I'm going to show you guys even a new updated video, just so you guys can see what it looks like now. But with that being said, I'm going to see you tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 Eastern. We're going to be live on location, Amber Berbelia, for a couple hours. It's going to be very important, and it's going to show you guys a lot. I'll explain when we start the live tomorrow. Then we're going to be getting into the case and the FOIAs tomorrow night, and then all that other stuff coming up this weekend. So thank you all so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Have a peaceful, positive evening, and we will definitely see you later. Look for these highlights to come out soon, especially all the different areas of that. Man, it's all that mud, y'all. That mud is crazy. And thank the Lord, at least dogs taking it serious. We need these things checked. Love you guys. Good night.
Seven, 4, 6.